बावतो रियो जहान। जहार प्रसादे बाये बावतो रियो जहान। कृष्ण प्रति होई जहाँ होइते, कृष्ण प्रति होई जहाँ होइते, गुरु मुख पद्मा वाक्या चित्त कोरिया क्या। गुरु मुख पद्मा वाक्या चित्त कोरिया क्या। और न कोरी हो मनी आशा, और न कोरी हो मनी आशा। श्री गुरु चरण रति ऐसे उत्तम गति, श्री गुरु चरण रति ऐसे उत्तम गति। जे प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आशा, जे प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आशा। चक्षुदान दिलो जे जन्म जन्म प्रभु से, चक्षुदान दिलो जे जन्म जन्म प्रभु से। दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित, दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित। प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जाते, प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जाते। वेद गाय जहर चोरी तो वेद गाय जहर चोरी तो श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अदम जनरा बंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अदम जनरा बंधु लोकनाथ लोके राजीवाना शिला प्रभुपाद लोके राजीवाना हा हा प्रभु कर दया देह मोरे पद छाया। हा प्रभु कर दया देह मोरे पद छाया। जाज के सुत्रिभुवाना शिला प्रभुपाद पतित पावना दुआ पद लैला शरणा जय प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा प्रभुपाद 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 विष्णुपदार्य कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चितदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द उदिलो वरुणो पूरब भागे बीजामणि गौरवामणि जागे भक्त समूह लोया साथु बेल नागर ब्राजे पाथई बाजल खोल गन गनाता है झांझरा रोल प्रेमे दला दला सोनेरा अंगल चरणे नुपुर बाजे मुकुंद माधव जदव हरि बोलन बोल रे बदन बारी नीचे निंदा बसे गेलो रे राति दिवस शरीर साजे एमन दुर्लभ मानव देहा पाइयति कर भावना के हो बिना भजिले जशोदा सुत चरणे पड़ी बेला दे उदित तपन हईबे आस्था बिना गेल बलि हईबे व्यस्त तबे केन एबे आलस्य हई न भज हृदय राजे जीवन अनित्य जाना सार ताहे नाना विदा विपद बाज नाम सया करे जतने तुम तक अपन काजे जीवेर कल्याण साधन जगत आशिय मधुर नाम अविद्यातिमिर तपना रूप हृदय गगन विराजे कृष्ण नाम सुधा करिया पान, जुराओ भक्ते विनोद प्राण। नाम बिना किछु नहीं तो और, 14 भुवन माजे। नाम बिना किछु नहीं तो और, 14 भुवन माजे। हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा, कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। राधे श्याम। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। कृष्ण बलराम। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। गौरनिताय। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे हराय नमः कृष्ण यादवाय नमः, यादवाय माधवाय केशवाय नमः। गोपाल गोविंद राम श्री मधुसूदन, गिरिधारी गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन। श्री चैतन्य नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत सीता, हरि गुरु वैष्णव भगवत गीता। श्री रूप श्री सनातन भक्त रघुनाथ, श्री जीव गोपाल भट्ट दास रघुनाथ। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधे श्याम जय राधे श्याम जय राधे श्याम। जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम। जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय, जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय, जय गौरनिताय गौरनिताय, जय गौरनिताय गौरनिताय। प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद। Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jai Om Vishnupat Paramhams Privrajagacharya Ashtottars Divine Grace Abhay Charanarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Om Vishnupat Paramhams Privrajagacharya Ashtottars Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Ki Anand Koti Vaishnav Vrind Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki प्रेम से गौ श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिव सदि गौर भक्तवृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की श्री वृंदावन धाम की मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की द्वारका धाम की गंगामयी की जमुनामयी की भक्ति देवी की तुलसी महारानी की सामवत भक्तवृंद की श्री श्री गौरनिताय की श्री श्री कृष्ण बलराम जी की श्री श्री राधा श्याम सुंदर जी की नरसिंहदेव भगवान जी की श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की श्री प्रभुपाद की निताय गौर प्रेमानंद All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Shri Shri Radhesham ki jai. So this is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 11, Text 13. The Lord is very satisfied with his devotee when the devotee greets other people with tolerance, mercy, friendship, and equality. It is the duty of an advanced devotee in the second stage of devotional perfection to act in accordance with this verse. Sometimes devotees are ill-treated by envious persons. It is advised that an advanced devotee should be tolerant. He should show complete mercy to persons who are ignorant or innocent. A preacher devotee is meant to show mercy to innocent persons whom he can elevate to devotional service. Everyone by constitutional position is an eternal servant of God. Therefore, a devotee's business is to awaken everyone's Krishna consciousness. That is his mercy. His general view should be to see every living entity as part of the Supreme Lord. Different living entities appear in different forms of dress, but according to the instruction of the Bhagavad Gita, a learned person sees all living entities equally. Such treatment by the devotee is very much appreciated by the Supreme Lord. And this other part is from 4:12:51. Pure devotees, out of compassion for the fallen souls, are kripalu, very kind to people in general. They distribute this Bhagavad Gita knowledge all over the world. A kind-hearted devotee is called Dinanatha, protector of the poor, ignorant mass of people. Lord Krishna is also known as Dinanath or Dinabandhu, the master or actual friend of the poor living entities. The Dinanathas, or devotees of Lord Krishna who preach the path of devotional service, become favorites of the demigods. The demigods are automatically pleased with him and offer all the blessings within their capacity. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So this week we have Gaur Purnima on Thursday. Lots of activities going on, and in preparation for that we have string beans in the temple room to be prepped. So if you can please help with that, that would be very much appreciated. And is it... What's that? Oh, Divyanga will give class today. Okay, I thought Mother Kush. Jai. Okay, so Shesha Prabhu is on for class today. And here are the devotees who assisted their guru in dressing the deities. Shri Shri Radhe Shyam was dressed by Mother Shanti, Chota Radhe Shyam by Mother Guru Prasad, Shri Shri Krishna Balaram, Mother Nanda, Chota Krishna Balaram, Mother Ananda Vardhini, Shri Shri Gaurnitai, Mother Madhuri Gopi, Chota Gaurnitai by Mother Gandharvika, and the Gurus and Lord and Shingadev by Mother Leela. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivada Dari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivada Dari Yashoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tiravana Chari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivada Dari Yashoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tiravana Chari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivadadari. Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana. Jamuna Tiravanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivadadari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivadadari. Jayam Vishnupad Paramhamsa Paribhajakacharya. Ashtottara Satya Shri Srimad, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Kota Vaishnavinda Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya, His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitanamane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Vachanine Nirvishesha Sunyavari Paschachide Satane. Hare Krishna. So this morning we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, Chapter 60. Krishna teases Rukmini. Today is text number 52 and 53. So we'll chant 52. Word meanings. Yea, those who, mam, me, bhajanti, worship, dampatye, for status and household life, tapasa, by penances, vrata, of vows, charyaya, and by the execution, kama atmana, lusty by nature, apavarga, of liberation, isham, the controller, mohita, bewildered, mama, mayaya, by the illusory material energy. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So text 52. Ye mam bhajanti dampatye tapasa vratacharyaya kamatmano pavargesham mohita mamamayaya ye mam bhajanti dampatye tapasa vratacharyaya kamatmano pavargesham mohita mamamayaya ye mam bhajanti dampatye tapasa vratacharyaya kamatmano pavargesham
Mohita mama mayaya. Ladies? Translation and purport by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Although I have the power to award spiritual liberation, lusty persons worship me with penance and vows in order to get my blessings for their mundane family life. Such persons are bewildered by my illusory energy. Purport: the word dampatye indicates the relationship between husband and wife. Lusty and bewildered persons worship the Supreme Lord to enhance this relationship, though they know he can be free, though they know he can free them from their useless attachment to temporary things. Text number 56. Someone want to chant that for us? Vapyamanim aparga sampadam Mam prapyamanim apavarga sampadam Vanchanti ye sampada eva tat patim Te mandavaga naraye fiye ninam Matrat makatvam niraya sumangama. Translation: O supreme reservoir of love. Unfortunate are those who, even after obtaining me, the Lord of both liberation and material riches, hanker only for material treasures. These worldly gains can be found even in hell, since such persons are obsessed with sense gratification. Hell is a fitting place for them. Purport. It stands to reason that since Lord Krishna is the source of all pleasure and all opulence, he himself is the supreme pleasure and the most opulent. Therefore, our real self-interest is to always engage in the loving service of Lord Krishna. As Prahlad Maharaj says, Bhagavatam 7.531, Nate vidu swarta gatim hi vishnum. The ignorant do not know that their actual self-interest lies in attaining the Supreme Lord Vishnu, Krishna. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti, one can easily obtain female association and other sense pleasures even in hell. We have practical experience that even such creatures as hogs, dogs, and pigeons have ample opportunity to enjoy sex. And it is unfortunate that modern human beings who have a golden opportunity to become Krishna conscious prefer to enjoy like dogs and cats. And this goes on in the name of material progress. Om Ajnana Tamarandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chaksurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So here Lord Krishna continues speaking to Rukmini. It's interesting that here the title of the chapter is Krishna Teases Rukmini. In a Krishna book, it talks between Krishna and Rukmini. And it's interesting not because just of the difference, but because of the implication of the two ways of expressing the title to this chapter. It's a wonderful Leela, regardless, and when we understand it as Leela, and then look at these two different titles, I think it helps us to relish the Leela a bit more. Leela, a little bit about Leela first. What is Leela? We have the word pastime. Sometimes the play of the Lord is given there. But both of those expressions have the connotation of something done not to achieve something. It's different than work, for instance. Karma, you do some action to achieve some result. But Leela is different. Leela is what the Lord does, but He's not doing it trying to obtain something or to some goal or to achieve something. He doesn't have to act like that. His activities are Leela. They're not meant to achieve something. Not even his own happiness. The Acharyas, they've explained the difference in by saying that they give the example of a prince. A prince will get up from bed and he'll start dancing. Now, he's not dancing to achieve something, but rather his dancing is an expression of a state that's already there in his heart and his mind. It's an expression of his ecstasy. And so Krishna's Leela is like that. It's not that he's trying to achieve something, but it's just an expression of his ecstatic love. And this particular circumstance that's described in this chapter gives us a look at that. Krishna is speaking to Rukmini, and he's expressing his love for her in this way. by talking to her. Or that's talks between Krishna and Rukmini, but by teasing her, which gives us a little more of an understanding of how he's trying to get the pleasure out of just talking. It's not just he's talking to her in a loving way and expressing his love like that, but he's teasing her and enjoying a deeper kind of relationship that comes from just talking. Actually, I went and I looked at the qualities of Krishna that are described in the Nectar Devotion. And of the first, let's see here, of the first 15 of those qualities, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them have to do with Krishna talking, with his speaking. Number 7, he's a wonderful linguist. Number 8, he's truthful. Number 9, talks pleasingly. Number 10, fluent. Number 13, a genius. Number 15, extremely clever. Krishna likes to talk. And he likes to talk to his devotees. And he talks to them in very funny and engaging and we can say also even enlightening ways. Well, I mean, what's Krishna's most famous talk? Bhagavad Gita. He's talking. He's talking to Arjuna. So he likes to talk. I mean, let me just read some of the descriptions here of Krishna. Fluent. This is number 10. A person who can speak meaningful words with all politeness and good qualities is called Vavaduka, or fluent. There was a nice statement in Srimad Bhagavatam regarding Krishna's speaking politely. When Krishna politely forbade his father Nanda Maharaj to stop the ritualistic offering of sacrifice to the rain god Indra, a wife of one of the village cowherd men became captivated. She later described the speaking of Krishna to her friends. Krishna was speaking to his father so politely and gently that it was as if he were pouring nectar into the ears of all present there. After hearing such sweet words from Krishna, who would not be attracted to him? So Krishna speaks very pleasing in ways. There's also the famous exchange between Krishna and Rukmini that's under the heading of genius, where Krishna, Radharani asks him, "Where is your dress?" But the word vasa has different meanings, and so Krishna answers her very playfully, Leela, and in Leela he says, "Well, my dress is in your vision." He says, actually Radharani inquired from Krishna, "Where is your dress?" But Krishna took the meaning as residence, and he replied to Radharani, "My dear captivated one, at the present moment, my residence is in your beautiful eyes." To this, Radharani replied, "My dear cunning boy, I did not ask about your residence, I asked about your dress." Then Krishna took the meaning of vasa as fragrance and said, "My dear fortunate one, I have just assumed this fragrance in order to be associated with your body." Srimati Radharani again inquired from Krishna, "Where did you pass your night?" The exact meaning, the exact Sanskrit word used in this connection was yaminiya yanimustita. Yamina, maniyam, means at night, and usita means pass. Krishna, however, divided the word yamusita into two separate words, meaning yaminya and musita. By dividing the word into two, it came out to mean he was kidnapped by Yamini, or night. Krishna therefore replied to Rukmini, "My dear Radharani, is it possible that night can kidnap me?" In this way he answered all the questions of Radharani so cunningly that he gladdened this dearest of the gopis. So Krishna likes to talk, and he does so very expertly and expresses his love for his devotees in that way. So that's Leela, and Leela is made up of these different qualities of Krishna. He's expressing these things, so you see that. And here we get another meaning of Leela in this pastime, because it seemingly has nothing to do with us. Krishna's Leela is for whose pleasure? It's for his own pleasure. It's not necessarily for us. We tend to think that Krishna and his whole life and activities revolve around us. But believe it or not, he's in his private bedroom here with Rukmini, and they're having a talk together, and it's got nothing to do, seemingly, it's got nothing to do with us. It's not the, what is it, Shastri Leela? Shastri, the creation? What is it? Shrishti Leela is involved with the creation. So there's no creation involved here. There's no demons involved here where Krishna's killing the demons. There's no adharma that Krishna has to correct. There's no creation. It's just he's enjoying with Rukmini in his private quarters. That's his Leela, and he can do that. He can do that. So that's another meaning of Leela, that we needn't think it all centers around us, but Krishna has his own enjoyment, and he's expert at doing that. And he likes to do it by speaking. But of course, Krishna has another quality, and that is that he's very clever. And by this quality of clever, he does many things at once. So even though he's doing his own thing with Rukmini in a private bedroom and everything like that, still there is some benefit for us in their conversation. There's some benefit for us in there. And it's because he's clever. In case you don't know, I'll just read it. There's a description of how Krishna is clever. A person who can perform various types of work at once is called clever. In this connection, one of the gopis said, "My dear friends, just see the clever activities of Sri Krishna. He has composed nice songs about the cowherd boys and is pleasing the cows. By the movement of his eyes, he is pleasing the gopis, and at the same time, he is fighting with demons like Aristasura. In this way, he is sitting with different living entities in different ways, and he is thoroughly enjoying the situation." So, even though Krishna and Rukmini are having their private talk, and they're enjoying in that way, still there's some benefit for us. So what is that benefit for us in this Leela of the Lord? On Friday, when Mother Nanda was giving class, she mentioned how Krishna tests his devotees. He tests his devotees, and so that's one way in which the conversation between Krishna and Rukmini impacts us. It shows us how Krishna may test us as devotees and put us in bewildering or difficult situations to test us, but ultimately to show our love for him. So that's one way. What I'd like to discuss here today is another way that this applies to us, and it's following the verse that was in the purport to the text number 51. You recall that Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he quoted a verse that describes the pure love between Krishna and Rukmini. So here's the translation. When the affectionate bond between a young man and a young woman can never be destroyed, even when there is every cause for the destruction of that relationship, the attachment between them is said to be pure love. This is the nature of the eternal loving affairs between Lord Krishna and his pure conjugal associates. So Krishna enjoys pure love or spiritual love with his devotees, and that's described as being, it doesn't break. It doesn't break, that love doesn't break, even if there's some cause for it to break. That's the nature of the spiritual world. But there's another nature, and that's the material world. And in the material world, we find almost like a defining characteristic of relationships is that they break. The defining characteristics of relationships in the spiritual world is that they don't break. That's shown by this conversation between Krishna and Rukmini. But in the material world, we find that the defining characteristic of any relationship is that it breaks. Now, of course, it can break in many ways. Ultimately, all relationships in the material world are broken by death. Of course, there are many intervening circumstances before death. If we make it to death, do us part, then... but getting there is hard. So let's explore this in terms of some of the words in the purport today, because in today's text, number 52 and 53, it talks about material relationships, not the spiritual relationships, and why one should want a spiritual relationship as opposed to a material relationship. I mean, the verse describes those that make the choice for material relationships and not spiritual relationships. That's not always the wisest of choices to make, as described here. It said that since such persons are obsessed with sense gratification, hell is a befitting place for them. Now, Krishna is not condemning everybody to hell here. But he's giving everyone the choice. And I think that's an important thing to understand from these two verses today, is that they indicate that there is some choice that can be made. You can either choose spiritual relationships, as shown, the relationship between Krishna and Rukmini, or you can choose relationships in this material world. The choice is yours. But he's there to give us some idea that it's not a good idea to make the choice for material relationships. It's not just that he's putting both out there and saying they're equal, you make your choice, but he's telling us, he's speaking to us that don't make the wrong choice. And his devotees, his messengers, like Srila Prabhupada, they have also given us the hint that don't take the material relationship, take the spiritual relationship. Prabhupada does this in many ways. He did it by giving the example of King Edward VIII. You know the example of King Edward VIII? Seventh? Okay, you know. The seventh, okay. King Edward VII. He made a choice. He had to make a choice between being the King of England and marrying an American commoner. A divorcee. Okay, yeah. He had the choice, and he made the choice for the relationship with Wallis Simpson. What was her name? He made the choice. Now, fine, he made the choice, but Prabhupada points this out because he says that later he felt sorry for making that choice. So, Prabhupada is telling us, you're going to feel sorry later if you make the choice for a material relationship rather than a spiritual relationship. He uses this example that we can relate to. It's in our lifetime. He was there. He made the choice, and he was sorry afterwards. We'll be sorry afterwards if we don't take the spiritual relationship. It's our choice. It's not that he's going to force us one way or another. We have our choice. So in text number 52, there's one word here, apavarga, of liberation. And so There's these two types of relationships. Spiritual is a relationship of liberation or apavarga, and material is a material relationship that's characterized by pavarga. Now, how many of you know where I'm going with this? Pavarga and apavarga. Prabhupada has, many times gone through the vargas for us. And so there's a pavarga. So I'll read it. Another name for salvation is apavarga. Apavarga is the opposite of pavarga, or the various miserable conditions of material existence. The word pavarga indicates the combination of 5 Sanskrit letters, pa, pa, ba, ba, and ma. These letters are the first letters of the words for 5 different conditions as described below. The first letter, pa, comes from the word parabhava, which means defeat. In this material struggle for existence, we are simply meeting defeat. Actually, we have to conquer birth, death, disease, and old age. And because there is no possibility of overcoming all these material conditions, due to the illusion of Maya, we are simply meeting with parabhava, or defeat. Now, as we go through these 5 things, try to think back on all the reasons that Krishna told Rukmini that their relationship should break. And how they are described by these 5 general categories of material relationships. The next letter, pa, is taken from the word pena. Pena is the foam which is found in the mouth when one is very tired, as commonly observed with horses. When the horses work hard, they get foam in the mouth. I've seen it in humans also, working very hard. Hard labor generally. This foam comes in the mouth. The letter ba comes from the word banda, or bondage. Pa is taken from the word bita, or fearfulness. Ma is taken from the word mrityu, or death. So the word pavarga signifies our struggle for existence and our meeting with defeat, exhaustion, bondage, fearfulness, and at last death. Apavarga means that which can nullify these conditions. Krishna is said to be the giver of apavarga, the path of liberation. So that's what Krishna describes himself in these 2 verses, 52 and 53. He says that I have the power to award spiritual liberation. And in 53 he says that I'm the Lord of both liberation and material riches. And so Krishna, he represents apavarga, or the path of liberation. Spiritual relationships are like that. But material relationships are pavarga. Now, we're all philosophers here. We're not ordinary common people. So therefore, when we understand that this pavarga means material existence, it means we should look at material existence and relate everything to this type of suffering that goes on, or how it characterizes all material relationships. I did a little research about the top 10 causes of divorce. And these things correspond to the reasons why Krishna told Rukmini their marriage should break. They correspond to this pavarga. Marrying for money, cause of divorce. Lack of individual identity. Now, you recall that Krishna told Rukmini, right, that I'm penniless. You shouldn't marry me because I don't have any money. Lack of individual identity. He told Rukmini that, people don't know who I am. Am I the son of Nanda Maharaj? Am I the son of Vasudeva? No one knows who I am. Am I cowherd? Am I Kshatriya? These are reasons why he was given her, why she should leave him. No shared vision of success. Krishna described how, he and all of his devotees aren't interested in material things, and so therefore, why are you interested in me? We're not interested like this. I have a different view of success than you have. Unmet expectations. You think I'm this and you expect that, Rukmini, but you're going to be disappointed. Therefore, you should separate from me. Different priorities, inability to resolve conflicts. All these things are pavarga, and we should understand them to be that. It's not just that there are some difficulties that we can overcome in material relationships, material life. It's built in. It's a faulty system. And these are the faults that are there. Hard labor, frustration, what were some of the other things? Defeat, exhaustion, bondage, fearfulness. These are all things which are characteristic, and we accept them by accepting material relationships. We accept all these things with them. They're faulty. They cannot be fixed. They can't be fixed. Well, they can be fixed, but to be fixed, you have to accept the spiritual relationships. That fixes them. Because in the spiritual relationships, all these things are apavarga. They're not present. And that was the whole point of the talk between Krishna and Rukmini. Rukmini, after initially being shocked by Krishna's words, she then explained everything that he said in a different way, in a way in which resolved the conflicts, resolved the differences. In the Krishna book, it's explained how because Krishna is absolute, he's pure, completely 100% pure, and all contradictions are revealed in him, are resolved in him. So even if there are cause for material relationships to break, or relationships to break, as Krishna was saying, they're not reasons to be broken when they're understood by understanding Krishna. By understanding Krishna, all contradictions can be resolved. And so, therefore, relationships don't break like they break in the material world. They don't break because in Krishna all contradictions are resolved. This is a Chinta Bheda Bhed Tattva. This is the philosophy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Everything can be resolved. Just think what that implies for the world we live in, that's full of all kinds of conflict. Everything can be resolved by understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It means all wars, all disputes, all troubles, big and small, everything can be resolved. We have to have this faith. It's hard to have that faith, especially from my position. As I serve on the GBC, I see nothing but conflicts in the society all over the world. But by understanding Krishna, we have to have faith. By understanding Krishna, all problems can be resolved because they're based on spiritual relationships, not material relationships. Material relationships have these faults. Spiritual relationships don't. They can all be resolved. And if that's not true, why would Lord Chaitanya voluntarily say to Krishna that even if you handle me roughly by your embrace, you're still my worshipful Lord, unconditionally. We can get to that unconditional state of in a pure relationship by making it spiritual, not by trying to fix it materially. It can't be fixed in that way. That's a lesson we learn from these talks between Krishna and Rukmini. So, any comments or questions about that? Yes. All right, Brian.
So, thank you for that lecture. I just had a question. I had a question this morning from one of the students in Bhagavad Gita class. And that's in response to, I answered a question before. It's a long question, but I'll just quote what I said, and then I'll ask the question that was posed in response to that, and maybe you can answer. So I say, in student life, we are making very important decisions, job decisions, but also relationship decisions. We need to have a strong understanding of what it takes to make a relationship successful, what a real relationship is, as opposed to an exploitative, abusive relationship. Krishna consciousness teaches us that our eternal relationship is with Krishna. Therefore, our relationships in this world should be formed with devotees, so that we can help each other progress towards Krishna. Later on, it becomes very difficult if one partner is not interested in Krishna consciousness, etc. The question I got this morning was, if we are not this body, are the parents who raised us with utmost care, love and compassion not related to us in any way? This thought itself seems scary. My wish is that they be my parents for all my future births. If we are to be attached to nothing but Krishna, are we to avoid our near and dear and associate only with devotees? I haven't answered, but...
I'm sure you do. I'm sure all of us have an answer, but since you asked me, I can give my answer. You have not answered yet. Well, one thing is, it's unfortunate that even though we have these desires, and see, that's the problem. We have these desires to have that relationship, like this person says, for lifetimes. But there's there's death. It's going to end, and there's nothing we can do about it other than make it a spiritual relationship. Then it can go on. And so the characteristic of the relationships, even the best in material relationships, because it's part of this pavarga, there's always something that can come in and spoil everything, even if everything has gone nicely, to this point. Frustration, exhaustion, defeat, so many things, and then ultimately death. And so, why work in a limited sphere with something that's inherently faulty? See, that's the false ego telling us that somehow or another we can conquer over material nature and eliminate these faults, but we can't do that. Now, we're not telling people hate your parents or don't, obey them and things like that, but we're telling them keep things in perspective. Otherwise, you're going to be bewildered at some point in time, and then you're not going to. The material relationship's not going to continue, but you're not going to have any clear path forward on what to do in your life. And so, but if you have some perspective that these things are temporary and full of faults, then that perspective helps you, that comes from the spiritual side of things, it'll help you through those difficulties, whereas otherwise you may just be completely devastated and have no clear path forward, and from the small thing, the thread starts unraveling and the whole cloth of your life becomes worthless. So have some perspective at least, if not detachment. The sages and our acharyas, they've also given us just detachment, which seems very cold. But they've also told us that if you become a devotee, then 10 generations of your forefathers, 10 both ways, past and forward, they become benefited by that. And so renouncing material relationships doesn't necessarily mean no benefit, spiritual benefit can be given to our relatives. So these are perspective items. Yeah.
Yeah, Jesus said, hate your mother and father and follow me. So,
So we're not the only ones. Well, there's a spiritual, following him means there's some spiritual idea. Yes.
I feel inspired to share something personal after what you said about Krishna speaks very sweetly and he is clever, and it relates to those two qualities. This is to glorify my Giriraj. This happened a couple of months ago when my son-in-law, for the first time, he came to our house. He came Saturday evening, Sunday morning, very late Saturday evening, and then Sunday morning we had a little Kirtan and for Giriraj, and then I told my brother, pick a book from our shelf and read something. So we have over 500 books in our library, so he just picked one random book, and when I read what it said, it describes how Krishna is actually, he speaks sweetly and he's very clever, he's expert. So my son-in-law's name is Daksh. So the word, when I opened that book and I read it, Krishna said, Daksh. There's only one place in the entire library, one place that the verse is Daksh, and then its definition. It's in Bhanu Maharaj's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So that it says Daksh, and the definition in Sanskrit. And I was thinking, for me, that was Krishna was welcoming Daksh. He said Daksh, and then he said the definition. So this is Krishna's sweet talking and expert for both.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else? Any other ladies while you're over there? No? Is your son-in-law already? I thought the marriage was in a couple.
So the emphasis, of course, in this pastime is the relationship with Krishna. But obviously there are spiritual relationships between jivas. And do you see the solution to the conflicts that come your way as a GBC to enhance, that if the Krishna consciousness is enhanced, then the conflict usually is resolved, right?
Yeah, I wish it was as easy both to become Krishna conscious and to resolve the conflicts, but ultimately, yes, you're right. There are variety of spiritual relationships with Krishna directly and with his devotees, certainly. And so we should cultivate those. We should make it a part of our sadhana, our lives, to cultivate good relationships with the devotees. And then even if there are conflicts, they can be dealt with differently. It's not like a break it kind of thing. I'm out of here. How many times have we heard that in the history of ISKCON? I'm going to leave ISKCON. Prabhupada, what did Prabhupada say? He said, no matter what, don't leave ISKCON. But because we have material conceptions about these relationships, as soon as something comes up, hey, I'm out of here. I've done it. I've had it with you guys. Why break? Why not just tolerate or suffer in? You're going to suffer out anyway, so why not suffer in?
This point about Krishna not being motivated. Of course, there's no material motivation, but like in the preface of Bhakti Rasa, or of Nectar Devotion, Prabhupada just starts unpacking rasa by giving mundane rasa first, and it's the pleasure that drives the materialist forward. He's seeking some kind of sense pleasure, and of course it's chapala sukha. But for a devotee, giving pleasure to Krishna is like a super important motivation. That's the main business of a devotee. But it also strikes me that, I was trying to look for a reference and I missed some of your class because of But it does seem that Krishna, being Bhaktivatsal, he goes out of his way to help his devotees and also to bestow upon them rasa, or even the preliminary platforms, that lead up to that. He's highly motivated to bring this devotee back to him and experience this reciprocation. We wouldn't say that it's mundane, but it does seem like there's a very powerful spiritual motivation that Krishna has. Like Prabhupada would often say that Krishna wants us to go back to Godhead more than we do. This is a commonly spoken phrase of Prabhupada. I'm not in any way saying that what you're saying isn't right, but maybe this is a different kind of angle on this discussed from different perspectives.
Yeah, well, in I have it here in my notes here. It says, this is true on one level, but there are many levels of the Lord's Leela. And so on one level, the Lord's Leela is just for his own enjoyment, and he's not trying to achieve something. He's Atmaram, he's already self-satisfied. He has no goal to achieve. But on another level, he does have a goal to achieve. Therefore, he comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to deliver the entire universe, to give everyone Krishna consciousness. And so there are many different levels of the Lord's Leela.
It seems that, and with Leela, Krishna always moves towards heightening the ras. That just sticking to like this pastime with Rukmini. It's like he said these heavy things in the beginning because he had an expectation, to deepen the love, deepen the relationship.
Okay, anyone else have anything? We're going to Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai.
I looked at email. I may not have done it now. I sent it headache or something. Yeah, I know. Well, then I thought, with the kids, so I switched on to